We sometimes start even a minute before the time we stated, just for the future.
My apologies,
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Thank you, Chairperson. Colonel, we were dealing with the applications and the warning that Ms. Oliver had provided or had given. Now, we would then continue from paragraph 34 just to contextualize and then move onwards from your statement.
Which paragraph?
34, page 11.
34. Another letter of application was made on the 22nd of September 2020. This time it was signed by the Provincial Commander, Brigadier Nuswa, and was forwarded to Provincial Supply Chain Management Office. The application was also not approved.
Did you hear anything from Brigadier Nuswa in response to or in reaction to the application?
No.
Thank you. Please proceed.
We owed money to National Security and Fire on the 25th of November 2020. They sent a statement of account for an amount of 3,306.49 cents in respect of monthly services. I made a SAP 585 application, which application was sent to the provincial office for financial approval. I attach here to a copy of the email sent, attaching the application marked JJP6.
Can you please just briefly describe an SAP 585 application?
It's an order form for that money to be approved and to be paid, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Can you just turn to page 31? Of the annexes bundle. What does that email relate to?
That was for the approval of that money, for the money that we owed National Fire and Rescue.
Okay, please proceed on your statement starting on 14 December 2020.
Which paragraph is that, sir?
Paragraph 35.
Okay, on 14 December 2020, National Security and Fire sent a further statement reflecting an amount of 3,610 as outstanding. They then advised that they would remove us, the DPCI office, from their system and will not render any further services due to non-payment. This was confirmed to me on the 13th of January 2021. Between November and late December 2020, there were ongoing discussions about our application for security. I attach here to a copy of the email exchange in this regard, marked JJP7. On the 13th of January 2021,
sorry, apologies, just so that we contextualize. Your JJP7 appears from page 33 of the bundle and of the annexes.
Without us going through all the emails, can you just summarize what the substance or salient features of the communication were?
that was just communication between Chief Admin Clerk Olivier from my office and Captain from Niekerk from the provincial office regarding these outstanding monies and what response we got from the security company.
Can I take your attention to the following page, page 34? The email from Captain van Niekerk.
She sent this to Lieutenant Colonel Majosi. Your response regarding this matter will be appreciated. This matter is long outstanding and was dealt with by the former provincial commander for acquisition management, Colonel Madu. This delay is causing a major security to this office, which has been previously targeted by criminals and who have broken into the offices and stolen state property. The procurement file was handed by Captain Diedrichs for processing. To date, this unit has had no feedback. Your intervention is required.
If you look at the persons copied, can you just...
Then also myself, then also Willie Fear from my office, as well as the provincial commander, Brigadier Newswa.
Okay, thank you. I think that completes the point. Go back to your statement at paragraph 36.
Sorry, Colonel, what they are saying there on page 34, because you're not dealing with the person's response, the day after Lieutenant Colonel Majosi responds, top of the page there, and without context, she seems to be suggesting that the request is going to the wrong people. It should be addressed to the right people. So they are not outright refusing the request. It seems to be suggesting there that you are sending it to the wrong people. Do you see the 16 December email?
I see that.
And they say, we will appreciate if you could explain how Colonel Madu involved in this matter, as it seems like the contract was secured by a head office. So the suggestion is that you must deal with head office and not the people you are addressing your request to.
Commissioner,
What follows is there is no request to head office. You seem to be asking them the same issue again. What is the status of the security application? We are now 29 December on page 33. So it seems to be a communication problem rather than a refusal to approve the request. Do you see that?
Commissioner, I see that.
Yes.
We dealt with Colonel Madu. Then we were told suddenly he's no more there. So this Colonel Majosi, he was then the one that we dealt with. Captain van Niekerk, she dealt with.
But Colonel Majosi says it was secured by the head office, so that's where it should go. That's at least my understanding, and I don't have context. I'm simply reading the email as I see it. So it could be that the request was addressed to the wrong people, and it's not an issue of head office or senior people outright refusing to provide the necessary support. Thank you. I think you accepted that, so we can leave it there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where was Officer Majosi based?
SCM in Durban, the provincial office.
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Thank you. Turn back to your statement. Paragraph 36.
On 13 January 2021, CIC Olivier specially wrote an email to Brigadier Newswa and Captain van Niekerk requesting an approval for the security contract. In that mail, she set out a full background to the addressees. She warned in the event that something should happen, this office has no security in place and there have been numerous break-ins at the office. I also attach here to a copy of the said email marked JJP 8.
Please turn to page 38 of the annexes. Are you there?
You want me to read it?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Just summary and who it was addressed to and time.
It was sent on the 13th of January, 2021, 3:20 in the afternoon. It was sent to Brigadier Newswa, Captain van Niekerk, and I was CC'd in that.
And in terms of summary, it was the same request for the alarm.
That whole history of everything, how it transpired.
Thank you. Turn to your statement, paragraph 37.
On the night of 14 January 2021, another break-in happened, which was only discovered on the 15th of January. A rock was used to break the window of the kitchen. However, the criminals were prevented by the burglar bars from entering. On the very day, I wrote a factual report to Brigadier Newswa and informed him that the office alarm was not linked to security company, as National Security and Fire had removed us from their system. I warned that while the alarm is activated after hours and on weekends, if the office is broken into, there's no way for us to be notified about it. We will only see it when we arrive at the office. Attached here to a copy of that factual report, JJP 9. I think we've gone through that one.
We've gone through that report, Chairperson. We don't need to go through it. It's the one at page 42. Please then continue.
Our request for security and armed response was again sent to supply chain management and even sent to Brigadier Newswa. In fact, it had turned into a plea for help. It was very important that the DPSI office had a working alarm system linked to a security company. However, our requests were ignored. I am still unable to understand why the applications were not responded to and approved. This is particularly perplexing since we were experiencing repeated break-ins which were reported per incident and also when we did applications. The provincial commander was aware of the numerous break-ins and the vulnerability of the Port Shepstone DPCI officers. On 22 June 2021, a large quantity of drug exhibits were received to be stored at the office. At the time, there was still no security service. Nothing had changed. Security was neither upgraded nor enhanced. I found this particularly strange. The Newswa knew of the security challenges, and I could not understand his decision or how he would allow the drugs to be stored at the office. There was then an attempted break-in late October 2021, which I reported to him. Again, there was no attempt to improve the previous application or even enhance security, given there were now exhibits of high volume. The DPCI office was totally unsuitable to store exhibits received. There was no adequate security in place. In fact, there was a decision taken in 2017 not to store exhibits at all of the 5 DPCI units in KZN. Brigadier Newswa was and is well aware of that decision. Major General Senona would have also known this. None of the DPCI officers were...
Why do you say Brigadier Newswa was aware of the decision? Was it a written instruction?
It was a written instruction.
Coming from where?
From General Zikali at that stage.
Who was he at that stage, Zikali?
He was the provincial head of KZN.
All right.
Why I would say, Commissioner,
Yes.
they were aware of that. Every quarter we are conducting, or inspections are conducted at each of these 5 serious organized crime offices. They would normally take a senior officer from one of the other units, one of the other 4 units, say they're going to inspect Port Shepstone. They would take from one of the other 4 units officers, normally about 5 or 6, make an inspection team. They would come and inspect my unit. And that was one of the points that they inspected, to make sure that no exhibits were stored at the units. Vice versa, if we had to go and inspect other units, we would look for the same thing. Ultimately, that report, after the inspection, is submitted to Brigadier Newswa to show all the weaknesses and problems at the units. While I'm on that, at each of these provincial inspections conducted at my unit, it was one of the shortcomings that I made the senior officer that conducted the inspection aware of, was the security issues at my unit. So it was well documented.
I assume you know the Durban office. This was not your operation or even your cocaine. It's the Durban office cocaine. Is there any reason that you are aware of that this could not have been stored in Durban? And I'm talking more about space.
Commissioner, you're talking about the Durban DPCI office. Commissioner, as far as I know, I don't think they've got a strong room. They occupy 3 floors, and it's just drywalling between the offices. So as far as I know, there's no strong room there.
Thank you.
None of the DPCI officers were at the time actually allowed to keep exhibits. This is the reason the DPCI office did not have a SAP-13 register. The DPCI office was particularly vulnerable and was not suitable to store exhibits, let alone of the quantity we were asked to store. Both Brigadier Newswa and General Senona knew this.
Colonel, just to refer you, General Flynn testified yesterday to say that in order to have a sub-13 register, your office would have needed, according to the national instruction, the approval from the national head office. Is that correct?
We did add it before when we were still receiving exhibits before 2017, when that instruction came from General Zikale.
And what if that decision was taken? What does it signify if they remove the sub-13 register or the capability of your office?
I think it was a security issue because of the lack of security at our facilities.
Okay.